Hey, how's it going? Gareth James here for MTT Back today with part 4 of my live play review series from the first Sunday of Scoop. Let's get back into the action. Okay, so bottom right then, we have Ace King off. I think we're probably just going to go ahead and 3-bet. I'm sure you can flat this hand at some frequency if you feel like the players behind are going to be somewhat aggressive. 6-5 off, top right. Queen 7 deuce board. You can see me checking his c-bet stats. So his in position c-bet is 3 for 3. So if he c-bets here, it's 4 for 4. But you know, again, it's a tiny sample, and there are some boards where he's supposed to, right? So this looks like a great board for him to just c-bet range. So you know, just be careful looking at HUD stats. Like if you do have the in position flop c-bet stat on your HUD, because you know there are just some boards where he's supposed to do this, right? He's supposed to c-bet 100%, and maybe all 4 of those boards were spots where he can just range bet. You can see me going for the raise here. This is really out of line. Like this just isn't a thing. So I don't know. Maybe I made the mistake in game of reading way too much into his c-bet stat. So yeah, I think that was not a thing. Don't do that. Okay, so bottom right then, we flop really, really strong. We just want to size it so that we can, you know, get all in by the river. So probably don't have to go more than about 10 to 12% of the effective stack. So betting 3.5 to 4 big blinds looks pretty good to me. He just fold. Okay, King Queen suited then. I'm going to open up from under the gun, 20 big blinds. The button calls and the big blind calls as well. So we flop straight draw, 2 overcards, backdoor flush draw. I think going for a check and then a check call or a check jam seem reasonable. We do check in this spot. Okay, so he goes ahead and bets. So we have a decision now. You know, we can call. We obviously have a really strong draw. We have outs to, you know, the straight plus 2 overs as well could improve our hand to the best hand. So I think call could be fine. I think we can't really raise any size. You know, if we raise to like 7.5, 8 bigs, like what hands are we doing that with that we're not going to continue? You know, if he jams. So I think calling or jamming is the play here. I mean, there's already 10 bigs in the middle. We've only got 20 back. It would be good to see this in simple 3-way to see if check jam is a thing, or we should just always go ahead and call. So you can see me checking out the raise sizes and then just chose to jam. He snap calls with ace 10, and we're going to bust that one. So yeah, let's just pause that and have a look in simple 3-way. Okay, so let's have a look here then. King Queen suited looks like it likes a bet for a small size. King Queen of hearts, you can see betting small for 75% of the time. Betting big the rest and checking 1%. So again, like this is a spot where we can go ahead and bet, and you can see that multi-way here, 20 big blinds effective, EP versus button versus big blind. We are betting our over pairs, checking sets, betting top pairs. I guess it's 2 pair. Let's have a look. So yeah, doing some betting with some top pair, top kickers, and then checking, you know, decent amount of other hands and throwing in some bluffs too. Betting with 2 pair as well. It's you know, good to see. So yeah, I think we can just go ahead and bet King Queen suited. So yeah, maybe that's a mistake. Although the EV on a check, I mean, it's not too dissimilar to betting smaller, betting big. So I don't think we should be too harsh on ourselves. So he goes ahead and bets 3 bigs here. The big blind folds. And then King Queen of hearts. Let's have a look here. So yeah, it does like to jam, but I mean we should be betting most of the time. So we've gone down a branch of the game tree that we shouldn't be, because we should be betting King Queen of hearts here reasonably often. But if we do land here with our 1%, then you know, jamming seems good. Although again, like the EVs are all pretty similar. You know, raising to 10, which I don't think is happening very often. Yeah, you can see it's like less than 1% of the time the solver's doing that. It's just jamming 20%, calling 40, and folding the rest. So yeah, I think jamming seems okay. And yeah. Okay, top right with the king queen off. You can see my RNG is at 8. It's a pretty low number. Normally for me, this is going to mean I'm going to play this hand passively, because I think you probably can mix this hand. You can flat sometimes, 3-bet sometimes. So I imagine I'm going to go for a flat here. Again, we face a squeeze. Now, this 3-bet looks really, really strong. So, again, he's supposed to have some bluffs here, right? But I think that even in the Sunday Million, you know, it's a slightly bigger buy-in than the $22. I just don't think that he's going to have enough hands here that, you know, we want to peel. So, you know, when he squeezes and the cutoff flats, we have a really easy fold, I think. A couple of hands then. So bottom right, choose to 3-bet here. Pretty interesting choice to 3-bet with the small blind being short. I guess if he jams, we just, you know, we're going to be priced into call, but not love it. But I guess if we flat, we encourage more squeezes from the small blind. So yeah, I don't mind it. Top right, we probably going to go ahead and call. Okay, so we flop a gut shot, backdoor flush draw, and an overcard. Let's see what he chooses to do. Okay, so he bets pretty big, 3/4 pot. So I think we have, you know, a mandatory call here. I think if we had ace-jack of spades or ace-jack of diamonds, the EV on a call is not great. I'm probably supposed to still continue, but it's not really making that much money. I think having the backdoor flush draw here is great for us. 9 of hearts on the turn, and he checks. So yeah, I think this is one we should definitely look at in PIO to see what our turn strategy is supposed to look like. So, you know, we're just doing really well against hands like, you know, that he just some random bluff that he had. You know, we're just doing pretty well. If he has like, I don't know, ace 10, ace 8, ace 6, ace 5, those kind of hands where you just decided to, you know, randomly bet the flop for a big size, we're doing really well. The problem with betting here is if we get jammed on, you know, are we supposed to call? Does he ever have a hand that we have enough equity against? I think it's somewhat unlikely. Yeah, we almost want him to have our hand, right? So that if we, yeah, so that he could actually be bluffing in this spot. So I think betting small is reasonable. You know, if you think about the value hands we could have here, we could have 7s, we can have king queen, we could. I don't think we have 9s with a club. I think that probably just folds the flop, but it'd be good to see in PIO if that's the case versus the big bet. You know, maybe we're overfolding if we're folding 9s with a club. So we could still have that hand. We're gonna have, you know, we're gonna have Jack 10, Jack 10 suited now, which is improved to a straight. We're gonna have some King X as well, and then I guess we'll have King X and Queen X of hearts, and occasionally, you know, we'll have some clubs. Don't know if we necessarily have like ace 7 of clubs here, but we could have ace 9 of clubs. So yeah, let's have a look at it in PIO and see what it says. So the first thing to note here is that I gave it a small size and a big size for out of position, and it much prefers the smaller size. So already when we choose this bet 500, we're going to be going down a part of the game tree that shouldn't be being gone down or traveled, I guess. You can see ace jack suited, we definitely want to go ahead and continue, but let's have a look at the EVs. Yeah, so you can see spades and diamonds really not loving it that much. You know, it wants us to continue because it's slightly more profitable than folding, but you know, I think if you wanted to fold here versus the big bet, I think that'd be fine. Okay, 9 of hearts then on the turn. He chooses to check, and let's have a look at strategy. Okay, cool. So it wants us to bet ace-jack of clubs at full frequency for a small size. Ace-jack of hearts is mixing between checking and betting small. And then if you do get to the turn with ace-jack of spades, ace-jack of diamonds, then you should mix them as well. I just want to go back and have a look at pocket nines. Okay, yeah, so this is what I thought. The nines with a club does continue, but again, it's going to be really low EV. Yeah, it's like 0.5, 0.9, 0.5. So versus the big size, I think we can let nines go. So we don't necessarily land on the turn with pocket nines here. But obviously if we did, then it's a great hand to go ahead and to bet. We do have some other value hands here. But yeah, you can see that ace-jack off wants to go ahead and bet pretty frequently. Looks to me like if I just do this, it's betting a lot more frequently when it has a heart and a club. So you can see here, all of these are heart hands. It's betting very frequently. And then all the club hands, certainly the ace of clubs, bets very frequently, and the others, do a bit of checking. And I guess this is because on either heart or club rivers, you want to be able to bluff, if you don't improve. And you also have like some decent blockers, right, to your opponent's continuing range. So it's kind of two things going on there. You've got good blockers to their continuing range, plus you have, a decent blocker to be able to bluff on the river on the right run out. Okay, so you can see me going for the big size here. I don't think this is, well, I mean, Pio said we should be going small in this spot. I guess we can, bet small, and if he raises, we can still continue. Whereas if we bet this size now, there's 30 big blinds in the middle, and he now has a better spot to check jam, and, now we don't really want to continue. So, yeah, it's not a great situation for us here. So I think the small bet makes a lot more sense. Yeah, so I think that's a good example as well of a hand, that we won, but we perhaps didn't play it, as well as we could have done. And I think those kind of hands are really, really important to review and analyze. And you should start to question everything. Start to rather than just look at the hands that you lost. And I see this quite a lot in forum posts, or in the Facebook group, or in our Discord server. Like, it just tends to be like, I lost this hand, what did I do wrong? And sometimes it's, you didn't do anything wrong, like it was just a cooler, or, it's just the way the hand was supposed to play out. But I think if you start then analyzing and questioning your strategy and your decisions in hands that you won, then you suddenly, you start to develop a better understanding, and you're not just literally trying to find the answer to, why you lost. Okay, opening ace-9 offsuit here. Okay, so, yeah, I mean, no real relevant blockers, no heart in our hand. Yeah, I think we should probably just go ahead and check fold here. Uh, 4-3 off, yeah, I'm just going to fold. Back to the ace-9 off then. I think we're just, still giving up. And yeah, pretty straightforward fold here, I think. Pocket tens then, min raising on the button. Going to be getting it in versus a 3-bet or a jam. Flop is queen, 9, deuce, big blind checks. We can just min bet this board, or 20% pot this board. And then decide based on, what they choose to do. But yeah, they just fold. Opening 10-8 suited then top right. Ace-9-4 board then. I think we can go ahead and c-bet small. Definitely would prefer the bet the shallower we were, because I still think there's a decent chance he's got a lot of hands that can continue here, but he's also got a lot of hands that just cannot continue versus a small size. Okay, ace queen off then bottom right. We open off around 80 bigs. Okay, so we get a flat from middle position, and the big blind flats as well, playing off 17 bigs. We flop top pair, top kicker. I don't think this is a great spot though for us to bet. I think we should start with a check, but we'll check this in simple three-way in a moment. So our opponent in position can definitely have jacks, eights, queen jack suited. Can have, you know, some really strong combo draws like ace 10 of diamonds, maybe ace 9 of diamonds occasionally as well. We have the queen of diamonds, which is great. So we face a bet here. Now, so this player's bet 64% pot into guy in the big blind with only 15 bigs. So this makes me think that his range is somewhat strong in the sense that he's very unlikely to bet this amount and then fold versus the big blind. So we have to, you know, factor that in. But then, you know, we have top pair, top kicker. I think going for a check call here is pretty good. The turn's the 8 of spades. I don't see too many like 8x hands in his range. I don't think he's calling here pre-flop with hand like, you know, 9-8 of clubs, or even like ace 8 of clubs. So we check, and he bets, and yeah, I mean it's already not looking like a great spot for us. Like on the face of it, it looks great because we have top pair, top kicker, but he's already bet into a short stack and to us as the pre-flop raiser when we can have queens, jacks, eights for sure, plus aces and kings, and queen jack suited. And then when we call the flop, you know, we have all of those hands still. And then on the turn, he still wants to fire. So I do think, again, like his strategy, or sorry, his range looks pretty strong now. So the turn might actually be a fold, but again, let's look at it in simple three-way before we say anything about that. The 10 of hearts is great for some of our hands that weren't anything on the flop and the turn, so like ace king of diamonds, ace king of spades, maybe ace king off with a diamond, although we maybe fold that on the turn. But yeah, we certainly don't fold ace king of diamonds, ace king of spades. So we have all those hands. Like I said, we have eights, we have queens, we have jacks. And he goes for a 56% pot. Yeah, I think we probably just have to fold here. I don't see this line being much that we beat very often. But let's look at it in simple three-way and see what it says. Okay, so the big blind's range, he's going to check, and we do a lot of checking as well. You can see almost 100% here, 90, 98%. And then let's have a look at our opponent's bets here. And again, he's not supposed to take this big sizing. You can see bet 494, 4.94. So I think like that makes me think even more that he has a pretty strong hand here, that he's very willing to get it in against the big blind. So if we go down this branch, again, it's going to be something that shouldn't be happening very often. Big blind folds. And then we have a call with ace queen off. It seems reasonable. So we're going to check the turn, the 8 of spades. And then you can see that, again, like he shouldn't land on this turn after betting this size, right? Because he shouldn't be betting this size on the flop. But if he does bet this size, let's have a look at our strategy. So you can see the ace queen off now. The EV on a call is, for some of these hands, reasonable, but for others, not great. So we actually have the ace of hearts, queen of diamonds, and the EV here is, pretty close to neutral. So I think folding here would be reasonable. And you can see he actually wants to go ahead and fold 40% of the time. But again, don't forget that we've gone down a branch of the game tree that he shouldn't be going down. He should be betting smaller on the flop. So, we kind of have to take the solver results with a, pinch of salt. But yeah, I think it's pretty cool to see that, it is suggesting if he does take this line that we can start folding our hand ace queen off. But we did call, and we check the river, and he now goes ahead and bets. And on the river, you can see that our hand, if we do get there, the 1% of the time, we it's a losing call, so we don't want to call with this hand. And we do have some hands to call, but again, like most of them are just really low EV. The pots 75 big blinds now, and these calls are worth like half a big blind. So that doesn't seem great to me. Okay, so I've just clicked on none weight here so we can actually see, you know, maybe what he's taking this line with. So in terms of bluffs, he's got some 5-4, 3s, 2s, ace-4 suited. I guess it's diamonds. Yeah, ace-4. Yeah, it's ace-4 of diamonds. And then value hands. Obviously, he's got jacks. He's got jack-10 that we actually beat. We have a better 2-pair. He's got some bluffs here, king-10 and an ace-10 in this spot. But then he had, you know, king-9 of diamonds improves to a straight. 10-9 of diamonds or 10-9 suited. It was a straight all along. And then pocket nines as well is a straight. So, like, in order to call here and be happy about it, we need to be sure he's turning these hands into bluffs. 2s, 3s, 5-4 suited, ace-4 of diamonds, and some 10x hands. And I just don't think that's happening. So I'm, you know, very, very happy to fold the river. But I mean, actually, we should be pretty happy to fold the turn, I think, as well. Okay, that's going to wrap things up for this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Gareth James for MTTPokerschool.com. I'll be back soon with part 5. But until then, take care, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.